So yeah, have you listened to an episode?
Yeah,
Okay, if
she's
you
like,
haven't.
I've
she's like
listened
the
to
first.
most of them.
Yeah, she's like
Our first
the
fan?
only guest that's like one of the first guests that's ever been on where like actually knows the premise pretty well.
What's that movie? Is it ahead? Don't ask her like she'll say, I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen a Podcast. This is a podcast where we bring people on the show and we get them really drunk and talk about a movie that I've never seen before. I'm like Zach.
And I'm Will.
You would
And
have.
it's episode 54?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't.
No.
I don't watch the show.
True. That's a great segue, though, because we apparently have someone on tonight
Who does
that,
watch the show?
has listened to the show.
Listens.
Yes.
I mean, everybody does.
Who do we have on?
Everybody fucking does. Oh, man. We've got all-around swell gal and actress Jensen Fraser in the house.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Excited to have you on,
And
Jensen.
it is going to be, it's going to be quite the show. This is quite the movie that we're talking about. What are we talking about?
We are talking about
Stressed.
Labyrinth, the 1986, I think. It's the
Oh.
1986 cult classic starring David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly.
Oh,
Mhm.
man, it is going to be weird.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Oh, man. Ooh, yikes. Only because my only vivid memory of Jennifer, am I just doing this right, of that actress, I think, is from Requiem for a Dream, that dream.
Yes, you are doing it right. This is a very different Jennifer Connelly, though.
Okay, good. Didn't like that one.
Oh, jeez. You didn't like
I mean,
that
I don't
one.
think anyone actually liked that
Uh-uh.
movie.
It was
No.
a movie we all tolerated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were all told we had to watch it because it was the best movie ever, and then we were just fucking devastated for a week later.
Yeah.
It took a full week for it to set in.
Of
Exactly.
recovery. Ugh, let's stop that right there. I'm done with that.
Done.
Yeah. Well, why did you choose this David Bowie classic, Jensen?
I chose this classic because I believe I saw it for the first time when I was like maybe 2013, 2014. And
Oh.
David Bowie in those tights was my sexual awakening.
Stop.
And I and I thought it'd be appropriate to look back on it and see just how messed up that is.
That's the funniest thing. I don't even know the tights, but I'm pretty sure I'm familiar with the look of David Bowie.
If you
in
can
this film.
imagine David
That's-
Bowie in tights, you're imagining correctly.
Okay.
He's got like he's
We
got
have a
some
couple of-
real
yeah.
RuPaul tuckage going on though. Sometimes
There was
It
no
is.
tuckage. There were some very
No.
uncomfortable close-ups.
That's
actually.
true. Yeah, no, there is no. Yeah,
Come
you're
on.
right.
No
The
tuckage.
opposite of RuPaul tuckage.
I watched this last
Really?
week with my parents, and my mom says he's stuffed. She's convinced.
Come on. So, you guys,
From personal
at home,
experience.
for any of you out there that are really
I'll ask
looking to
later.
see some CUDB Wang, this is the film for you.
My God,
Ugh.
Well, you're
I
welcome.
didn't like that.
Oh man.
Just saying
Do you want to
facts, man.
see? Let's see the Wang that Zoe Bowie came out of.
Zoe Bowie.
Yes.
Does he have a daughter
That's-
named Zoe?
No, that's what he named his son Zowie, otherwise known as Duncan Jones, the director.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking of. I didn't know he named it
What?
Zoe Bowie.
Yeah, his name is actually Zoe Bowie. You can see why he.
I
changed it.
literally know nothing much about David Bowie other than Dancing in the Streets. Is that the one?
Who are you,
Is that
Alenka? Where did you come from?
Is that his autobiography to you?
I don't know. Yeah,
Jeez.
I guess. Everybody stop
Deeply
it.
offended.
I loved anime growing up. That's what I dived into. Not American pop culture, all about Japanese pop culture. So I don't know anything.
Bowie's from Britain.
Nah.
Yeah, but David Bowie is kind of like real life anime. He really is.
No, probably. Yeah, you're
That's
right.
his aesthetic.
I didn't. Yeah, okay, but when I was like 10, I was not all about real people. Whatever.
I had me and my imaginary friends.
My me time.
I had deep-seated delusions in my childhood.
Do you know what? I needed me time from my imaginary friends.
I'm starting to understand that my horrible understanding of the world is not from having foreign parents, but just because I was a fucking weirdo. Okay.
Well, what does this fucking weirdo think this movie is about?
Holy shit, Alenka? I don't know. Labyrinth? Like, I thought this was about... Okay, just from, like, the image that I feel like I can see of David Bowie with his, like... I can't remember what the getup is, but I thought he was evil, but, like, also a mentor in this film. And I'm thinking it's very, like... This could have been a bedtime story, like, that's, like, this thick, though. Like, it's hyper thick. I don't know what the movie is with the giant thing, Never-Ending Story. That movie. It's this. So a girl is, like, going about her days. And she's, like, a girl going about her days. And she's just, like, I'm so bored of regular life. And then all of a sudden, she's, like, at school. There's, like, this little, like, noise, like a mouse is in the crack in the wall, and she's like, that's so odd. So she goes to look into it, and then she gets pulled into it, and then inside is David Bowie, and he's like, welcome to the underground, bitch. And he kind of helps her, you know, maneuver through this dreamland, and eventually she makes some friends, meets some animal creature characters, and is this the story of Narnia? I'm getting Narnia vibes.
I will say
all.
there's a couple similarities in there.
Okay.
We got a couple, which is weird. He said, welcome to the underground, and the opening credit theme song is called Underground, which is weird.
Knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Got him.
You got it. Which I actually have a tattoo from that song that I got at 17 because I made bad decisions.
Why are you so much hipper than me? I need to get some culture in my
really
life.
Not. I'm a hermit.
With a tattoo, though.
You did mention Never-Ending Story. I get that kind of vibe from this movie for sure.
I've
There's
also
just
not
like
seen
the same vibes. We will have to do them.
Okay.
It's just this late 80s. Let's have like some interesting child actors who it's really hard to tell if they're good or not at that point.
The worst.
I'm just like, you know, it's just like, ooh, you know, this is not a Jacob Tremblay, but maybe could be one day.
I don't know who that is. Don't know what that is.
The only thing I remember from that movie was wasn't there like a really weird like furry dragon thing?
A furry thing that you climb on. And in Family Guy, they reference him like twice. Different episodes.
Yeah.
So you've seen like all of Family Guy and remember that.
His name's Falcor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, so that's my rendish.
I think it was close. I think you hit some points, and I think you would literally have to like be like a flat person under an actual rock to not have at least a kind of idea of what this movie is about.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like it's
I get some points.
It's still permeated in pop culture, but you know.
Right.
So you do get some points for knowing some things.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The look.
The bulgy look. The bulgy look.
I was not aware it was a bulgy look, but apparently is a thing.
It was bulgy and like frosted tip mullet. It was great.
Yeah, the mull. That's what I remember.
It's like mullet, but it's more like well, the late 80s was so androgynous,
it's like a mega mullet. Like it's a ridiculous.
Kind of looks like mom hair too.
Ooh. David Bowie as a Karen, circa 1986.
Like, you know when you're baking and they tell you to whip something until it's got firm peaks? That was his hair. Do you know what
he's got some firm peaks, I think, in this movie.
I hate this so much. Will, please tell us about this horrible drink so that I can better understand what this movie's about.
Oh, I don't think it's going to give you anything. I might mention some things, but anyway, we're drinking what I call the power of voodoo.
Hoodoo?
And it is hoodoo.
You do?
And it's essentially 3 ingredients with some ice. It's peach schnapps, because there's a peach in this movie. It is green liqueur, whatever kind of green liquor you can put in here. I've got some green melon liqueur. You could do creme de menthe or green sourpuss. Yeah, true. Green sourpuss actually probably would not be good in this. I think it needs to be a little smoother. And then finally, you want to top it off with some, coffee liqueur, like a Bailey's or a Kahlua,
something that'll make it curdle.
Something dark and creamy to make it look just absolutely
disgusting.
Fucking swampy, disgusting.
What the fuck?
The green is for goblins. Green is for goblins. That's what the green is for. So
can you imagine learning your ABCs? It's like G is for goblins and green.
And green.
D is for goblins with a D. And E is also for goblins. That would be my ABCs. Just goblins.
Just everything.
All goblins. A is for goblins. All right.
You will never learn how to actually spell.
For gablins. Okay. But that's the drink. So make it at home, folks, and don't throw up because it looks absolutely
so bad.
god-awful.
But how does it taste?
But it actually tastes fairly decent. It's very sweet. You've got peach and Bailey's and green melon liqueur in there. So I'm gonna end this night with a high blood sugar. Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, Zach.
It's only for our deep knowledge fans who know
how low diabetes he is.
Only the super fans will really know.
Don't worry, Jensen. Exactly. By the end of this freaking movie, you'll also be saying "fuck you, Zach." That's my goal.
Bet.
Get other.
Well, I really hope he doesn't listen to this podcast. The amount of times we've said that to him.
I think whatever, it's fine.
Well, Jensen, how does this movie start?
This movie starts with like a 3-minute opening credit scene of this terrible CGI owl just like flying around on a black screen doing his thing. Fun fact, it's the first animal to ever be CGI'd in film.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. And you can tell it was the
number
first.
One.
Wow.
You
can. It is
so does it look just horrid?
It's almost like
it looks like you know what? It suspiciously looks like the Harry Potter owl.
Yes, but like digital and shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But also like it's almost like they created this is going to be a deep cut for people who are into editing and whatnot. Anyway, It's like they created a digital owl flying around, put it on like a green background, and then put that into the credit sequence so that it almost looks like a shitty green screened digital owl. Like it's really bad for now. For then, I don't know, some 11-year-old was in that theater going like, oh my God, it's a real owl on screen.
It's coming for you.
Did they not use animals like prior to this either? They must have.
No, they abused animals prior to
they
this.
definitely.
Okay.
This was just the first. They've CGI'd other things into films, but this was the first CGI owl or animal in film.
Okay.
That's so interesting. It would have been less impressive if it was just the first owl. It was just like, we CGI'd an elephant, 3 years ago,
cool.
but this is the first owl.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Takes time to get the feathers
Yeah,
right.
so starts with owls, but then the owl morphs out of the credits and kind of lands, and it's real. Then it's a real owl.
Yeah,
It's
he's
no
like,
longer
bye,
digital.
out of the credits.
Yeah.
The transition, you know what, I will say wasn't bad for 1986. I'll give it props.
Yeah,
You
it
look
wasn't
like
too
you
bad.
disagree.
I'm just so confused. Like, why? Why not just use an owl? Get some footage of it moving.
Like on a green screen, that'd be a nightmare to
Sure.
film.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
They just set an owl loose in the studio and
That's
filmed it,
fine.
seeing what
Yeah.
happens.
And then we're introduced to the main character, Sarah.
Mhm.
Sarah
Okay.
Williams, played by Jennifer Connelly. Very young, like teenaged Jennifer
She's
Connelly.
14
Young.
when she filmed this film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which now feels very creepy later on.
Mhm.
But we'll get to it.
Really?
Oh,
I'm stressed.
yeah.
I'm so
But I will say immediately, like, this is the whole vibe, is that these movies bother me because I know that they need to be big and fantastical, but that means that these like 14-year-old actors are way too big. And, like it just feels like you're terrible. It doesn't. Like, I was like, I can't believe
Huh?
Jennifer Connelly had a career after this movie.
Oh, my dad said.
It's
My
just
dad was
so
like, I
bad.
don't know how
Really?
this ever made it.
No,
Because it's
She's
just
great
an
now.
awful
Oh.
movie?
Props.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's not an awful movie though. It's like it's a classic. It's just like her performance is just so over the
Mm.
top, like
Hmm.
which you ease into it once you're in the fantastical elements, but off the top when it's just a regular person, you're like, this is too much. I'm sorry, way
This
too
is too
much.
Just a
Take it
tad.
down, Jen. Take it down.
Literally, tone it down. But she's
Okay, so
reciting.
what's she doing?
Do you know the lines that she's reciting, Jensen? I don't know.
I
exactly.
do. So she comes on, she's in this like fairy tale dress and like this flower veiled headband thing. And she spots the owl, who I think landed on a tree or something. And she's like, give me the child. We're all like, why? What child?
Fuck.
The fuck you talking about?
She's just talking
Fuck.
like, I know. She's like, through dangers untold and hardships unnumbered, I have fought my way here to the castle beyond the Goblin City to take back the child that you've stolen. For my will is as strong as yours, and my kingdom is as great.
With a half and half shitty British accent, but it's like
real
What?
bad.
she's like trying to put on a British accent, but it's not great.
Like the whole
Um,
character or just for
And
this
then she's
part?
like, just for this part,
Yeah.
really.
Thank God.
And she's kind of like, oh, and then she's like, damn, I forgot the line. It's like she's reading from like a storybook.
Yeah,
And
she
she's trying
has
to
the
enact
book
her imagination
called Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she's like, oh
this is
shit,
some
man.
Jumanji
Forgot
shit.
my line.
And then she's like, oh, and then she looks up and it's no longer an owl. It's a dog. It's like a mutt kind of dog, you know. What kind of dog? is that? Like a sheepdog? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Cute.
shaggy.
Shaggy sheepdog.
Pretty
And it's
shaggy.
her dog, obviously. And she's like, and then the clock tower in her town, it goes off, and then she's just like, oh, I'm gonna be late.
She's like,
That's
oh
not how she
no,
says it.
come on, Merlin, my dog who just showed up.
What?
And you see her running.
Where'd the owl
and
It's
she's
an
go?
off leash town.
The owl just,
It's
Yeah.
in her mind, Alenka. It's her
Okay, okay.
imagination.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
sorry.
or is it?
Or is it? And she's like runs
sense.
home.
Yeah, you see her jeans under her like fairy tale dress.
Yeah.
Cute.
She's just a fantastical, imaginative
She's just
little
living
girl.
her best 1980s life.
14-year-old?
Yeah.
It's
14.
too old to be
Yeah,
doing
she's
that.
14.
Which
I don't
the-
know how old she is in the movie, but she was 14 when she filmed the movie.
I think the
Oh,
movie,
okay.
I think she's probably supposed to be around that age.
Yeah.
Judging by like the next line, one of the next lines that happens. So she gets home and it's like pouring rain and the dog's all muddy. And basically she's late because she's supposed to look after her little half brother or step brother.
Half brother.
Half brother, yeah. Her half brother. So she has her dad and then her stepmom. And the stepmom's like, no, dog stays outside in the garage. It's
Lame.
too rainy. And
Don't have a dog
and
then.
it's like the stepmom's not like mean.
She's
at
just
all.
like, where the hell you been?
Yeah, like you said that you would be here to look after Toby. And then she's like, I would have, it's like, it's okay if like you should have just told me if you had a date or something. I'd be happy if you had a date.
Oh yikes.
Which is like, it clearly indicates like you need to get out more, girl.
Get
You need to,
Aw.
yeah, stop reading
Aw.
these stories. Get a man. That's what she said.
Get yourself a
I'm
man.
so
at 14.
sad now.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think she's like 14, 15, like at that
Yeah.
age where you might start like dating people.
Mhm.
So that's that kind of indication. And this is where she gets real bad actressy, and she's like, "Oh, you're ruining my life," and then she like runs up the stairs. I don't think she says that, but that's the delivery I get, the performance.
She says it's not fair a lot.
Yes, it's
Yikes.
not
Victim.
fair, but not
It's not
British.
fair.
Everything's British.
So
Yeah,
she
what
runs
happens
upstairs.
Yeah, and then her dad comes in. He's like, oh, like, hey, girl, can I talk to you? And she's like, no, there's nothing to talk about. Like, you better leave. You're going to be late for your date with stepmom or something. Oh, God. And then her dad's
mom
like,
and the stepmom
okay.
is literally just like, she treats me like an evil stepmom, and I'm not.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then she breaks down crying, and it's a whole
Aw.
but like, it's no, but like it's just funny because
Don't.
she's really not a mean. They don't portray her as some like evil hag or anything. It's
So
literally
wait,
just,
does she actually say the line, she treats me like an evil stepmom and starts crying, or did you just make that
Yeah.
up?
Yeah,
She doesn't
She
start
does.
crying.
Oh, okay.
no,
Okay,
it's
okay.
very. This is like the only time you see these two actors. They're gone after
They're gone.
this.
They never,
leave.
they
Oh, God.
are gone forever.
Well,
They were in her imagination the whole time.
Yeah,
stop.
she's an orphan. She's a little orphan.
She
No owl,
wished
no
she had a
dog. It's just a
family to hate.
cockroach.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her dad is like, can I talk to you? She's like, no, there's nothing to talk about. Like, better leave. We're going to be late for your date with stepmom. And he's like, I
Yikes.
fed the baby. Just like, don't kill it. And we'll be back later.
Yeah.
I think,
Yikes.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Just don't kill
More or less.
your half brother, and just we'll
Yeah.
be back.
And then he leaves,
Well,
and she's
yes.
like, wow, you like really want to talk to me. Like, practically broke down the door.
Yeah.
She's a real, like, extra.
So
Yeah.
upset.
She's a little too much.
Jesus
I mean, I guess she's a
Christ, woman.
teenager.
Sure.
But she notices like her one of her favorite stuffed animals is missing, so she runs into Toby's
old.
like crib room, and it's like it's on the floor, and it's like the stepmother gave Toby her favorite like stuffed animal, and she's like, and the Toby's crying and being a little fucking baby because he's a little fucking baby,
Little baby.
literally, and she curses him. She's like reading from the book, or she's like reciting something from her book about basically wanting the goblins from her book to take the child away, and take the child away for here. And while she's reciting this long thing that I'm not sure, I don't have it up, you get this shot of these fucking terrifying Jim Henson puppets.
Nightmare fuel.
What?
Yeah. All like
What?
goblin puppets, all in like this giant group, and they're like, wait for it.
What?
They look like
Come
bloated
on.
garbage pail kids.
I need
Yeah,
to see what
it's like
that
they're
looks
like-
like. What? Ew.
And they're like, wait for it, wait, because she's about to like say the magic words to like curse
Oh,
Toby
gross.
and
I
get the
see them.
goblins to be able to like, I guess, jump into the real world and steal them
Okay.
away. She finishes, and yeah, guess what happens?
There's,
Toby
like, this-
They
gone.
jump in and they
Oh.
take him.
Nope.
No.
What?
So there's like this big crash of lightning, and she's like, oh, she's like, Goblin King, wherever you may be, take this child of mine far from me. And it cuts back to the goblins, and it's like, oh, that's not it. Like, that's not the words, dumbass.
No way.
Yeah.
And then
That's so
she's like, oh
funny.
man, like, guess it didn't work. And then she leaves the room, she turns off the light, she looks back at her, I can't speak words, help. She looks at her half-brother, And she's like, well, you know what? Like, I really wish that the Goblin King would take you away right now. She turns off the lights, and then the baby just stops crying.
Oh.
Instantly.
Oh. She's a bad sister.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bad sister.
She's not a very good person in this opening.
What the fuck?
How are we supposed to root for this person?
You don't.
Right.
The rest of the movie. Yeah.
What a fucking brat.
So she turns around and she's like, Toby, like, weren't you crying? Like,
she does.
Hello. Yeah, and she goes back to the crib and she pulls back the blanket in the crib and he's not there. And then you see behind her, there's like lightning and thunder, it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Behind her, you see like little goblins poking in and out from like behind the bed and in like the cupboards. And every time she turns around, they like pop back in.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. They're pretty gross, disgusting looking.
They are not attractive goblins.
I've seen some more attractive goblins than the fucking Labyrinth goblins.
Yeah. They're not the goblins that give you sexual awakenings, that's for sure.
Not these ones.
Some people are into that.
I mean,
and then
it's
so what
fine.
happens
You're
is
fine.
there's like thunder and lightning, and then the baby's room has like big fucking veranda doors, like a.
It's her parents' room, but they have the baby's crib in it.
True, that makes sense. I was like, why does this baby get?
Why is this baby
the
so
balcony
luxe?
room?
Yeah, I know, right?
This baby get the beautiful room. Yeah, exactly. They like open up, and then in comes the Goblin King himself.
The owl comes in first.
Oh, the owl comes in first.
And he's like flapping his wings in her face.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's like, hey, yo, it's me, the owl.
I just imagine like
And
this
then-
massive wingspan just like literally right in her face, and she's just like squinting, like
It's
holding nothing.
pretty
for
much
dear
what
life.
happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
She's just kind of like, no, owl, stop.
And then the owl transforms into the Goblin
What?
King.
In all his glory.
DB, David Bowie.
Is this his DBA? Wow, okay.
This is
Yeah.
DBA.
Yeah. David Bowie.
I didn't think he'd be the Goblin
And-
King.
Yeah, he's the Goblin King.
What do you
King of
think
the
he would
Goblins.
be in this story?
Lord of the Underworld.
Like
Goblin?
literal Jesus. Yeah. He'd be
Yeah,
like the
like-
Aslan. Like.
Yeah, but goblins I associate with bad. Aslan is like good.
He's not the Aslan. He is, quote unquote, bad.
Yeah, we never
Okay.
said he was good.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I know, that's why I said I was confused.
I think that's just we
Because I
all
thought he was
internalize
gonna
David
be the
Bowie as
Aslan.
being beautiful, amazing. Yes, good
Sure.
human being.
And then, so she sees this grown-ass man standing in front of her in her house alone with her and her baby brother. And she's just like, where my brother at?
Yeah, it's like we got Brinks. I'll turn on those alarms. And he's got a fun little. Wait, what does he have first? No, he has the snake, or does he have the ball? The ball.
Well, she's like, "Where's my brother at?" And then he's like, "You know where she is, or where he is? Like, he's at my kingdom, girl." Like,
That would make this movie so much better if that's how he talks.
I know. Can we get a reboot, please?
Yes.
And he points out the balcony doors, and you see like this big long maze, and way in the back is like this big grand castle.
What?
Mm-hmm.
But they were just in
Yeah.
their house.
Exactly.
They're still in the house.
But they're in a magical land now.
Exactly.
Through the doorway.
You can see like when she looks out the balcony, it's like this different
Mhm.
place.
But he
The labyrinth.
basically offers her like he's like I'll take your brother, and in exchange all your dreams will come true. But he's like,
no.
you know, very carte blanche, like, you know, she gets all her dreams.
Yeah,
just for
he's like, I brought you a
those shitty little
gift, and he
half-brother.
lifts
Yeah.
this like
yeah.
crystal ball, and he starts like doing weird shit with it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
those weird guys you see on like
Already,
university campus with their hobbies, with their ball hobbies.
Yeah. Second fun fact:
Oh.
David Bowie could not do that, so they had a guy kneeling below him with his hands hooked under his arms, doing it for him. No. There's behind the scenes. It's great. Yeah.
Stop.
You can see the guy like kneeling under him with his arms hooked through and being like, look at me do my thing.
Come on.
They
David
really
Bowie should've
wanted
learned
that take. Like they really needed that take that they had to hire a whole other guy.
Well, he does it more than once.
Balls.
They do it more than once. It's not just like the one shot where he's all like,
sure,
doodaloo with the crystal ball.
Him fondling his balls is a common recurrence in this.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
He's got balls.
Great.
Crystal balls.
Hate it.
Yeah. So he's like, take this crystal ball and like forget about the baby. He's like, just do it.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, maybe. But then, her actual empathy and, real person kicks in. Is like, no, I can't just give up and kill. You just assume that he's not going to end up well, this kid.
Right. Probably going to eat
like,
the baby. That's a goblin thing.
Yeah.
We'll find out what they're going to do to the baby.
So he's like, oh my God, like, you don't want my gift? Here. And then the crystal ball just turns into a snake and he yeets it at her face. He throws a snake at her face.
Oh, no.
Because he's a bad dude.
He's not nice.
DB.
Yeah. Exactly.
But he already has the baby too, yeah?
Yeah, so to get her brother back, he says that she has to spend 13 hours in his kingdom.
What the fuck?
13, it's a very specific number of hours.
You have 13 hours to solve the labyrinth before your baby brother becomes one of us forever.
Mm-hmm. They're going to turn him into a goblin.
A baby goblin.
Yeah.
Goblin.
Nice.
A is for goblins. B is for goblins.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
So she's like, I guess 13 hours doesn't seem too bad. I'll do that shit.
Yeah, she's like,
I'll get my brother back. Yeah.
Let go.
So thus the adventure begins.
Jesus.
Yeah, so she's like, okay, let's go. And then she gets to the beginning of the labyrinth. And she looks over, and there's this goblin just, like, pissing in the river. Like, pants down, full on pissing in the river.
Come on.
Yeah, like he has the pants down to his, like, ankles.
Yeah.
That style of pissing, you know? Like,
nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
women pretty much always has to do it that way. But, like, for guys, I imagine that becomes, like, a no-no, after the age of, like, 4 or 5.
That goblin is the guy.
Confession, I did that till I was, like, 15 years old.
You did pants to the ankles at the urinal?
Yeah.
No, you did not.
Because I did.
Well,
I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't want to get it on my pants. I don't want to like.
You were like in high school, and
so I never liked using urinals.
To the men's washroom. I see your whole ass out. Are you?
No. I don't use I didn't use urinals. I always opted for the stalls, or I just fucking held it till I got home.
Oh my God.
That's a fucking.
So everyone just always thought you were pooping.
Yeah, they're like, that kid shits a lot
all the time.
Why is that so funny?
So anyway, moving on.
You fucking freak.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you, Alenka.
So the goblin is like, excuse me. Oh, it's you. And she's like, okay. I have to get through this labyrinth. Can you help me? And then he just ignores her. He's like, nah. And then he's just like going around this little like spray bottle and like spraying these little things in the air. And they're fairies.
Neat.
Oh, yeah.
And they're hitting
like
the ground.
Shooting down fairies, yeah.
He's just exterminating fairies.
Little Tinkerbells, yeah.
Yeah, they're awful. And she's like, oh my
Nothing
God.
beautiful can live in this maze.
No, just the goblins.
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Yeah. So she's
It
like,
is, yeah.
why are you killing them, dude? You're a monster. And she picks up the little fairy who just got sprayed and bites her. So she eats it on the ground.
She's like, fuck you. Fuck this.
And she's like, oh my God, it bit me. And he's like, well, like, it's a fairy. What'd you expect it to do? She's like, not bite me. I thought they did nice things.
What the fuck?
And he's like, well, that shows how much you know. Her sass has been met with more sass. Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
And then they fell in love and got married.
No, they did not.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we haven't seen the
yeah, so
sequel yet.
she keeps going through. There's a funny scene where there's this little like worm like thing, animal.
Yeah,
creature.
she's walking down the labyrinth, like the straight kind of stretch forever. And then eventually she's like, oh my God, it just goes on forever. And she gives up and she leans against the wall. And you just hear this little, hello. And she looks down and there's this little worm. And he's just like, she's like, did you say hello? She's like, no. I said, hello.
What the fuck?
Get it fucking right.
What is this labyrinth made out of?
This like stone and wood
Grass, hedges, maze. It's like regular maze, but also there's other shit, tunnels.
Maze stuff.
There's a whole ass village in this bitch, yeah.
What? Okay.
And so the worm like sends her in the wrong direction. She's like, because she has to get to the castle. And he's like, oh, you just go right over here. And she goes through, and then he's just like, oh, lucky she went that way, or else the other way would have took her right to the castle of the Goblin King.
Oh no. So rude.
Poor oblivious
As
little
if she
worm.
trusts any of these people too. Like, you're in a bad
She's
really
very
should.
naive.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, if this were real, I'd be just on my on the ground crying and
Sure.
upset. I'd be like, this is the end of my life. There's
I'd
too
probably climb the
weird-ass
fucking
creatures here.
labyrinth. Hello? Why does no one ever do that?
just like jump the hedges.
Yes.
This is like legit. This is not like, oh, I can just climb up. It's probably like 20 feet high.
I'd try.
All right. I don't know what trying means. Have you ever tried to climb like a hedge?
Okay, when
just,
you're like
you know,
fucking 15,
or a stone wall?
you can do any sort of physical movement. Like, you have no limitations.
It's pretty trippy.
Yet.
Like this movie is just a complete acid trip in itself. Like, even the sets and the visuals don't really make sense sometimes. Like, they're optical illusions just while you're watching it on the screen.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay. Okay.
So she goes, the worm is like, well,
wrong way.
That way would have taken her right to the castle. Sucks to suck. And then she goes and she hears Toby crying from like 20 kilometers away in the castle.
Because this kid is loud, man. This is why she sent him away. She was like,
Yeah.
it's so piercing.
She's like, fuck, why am I even doing this?
I'm 14. Your terrible parents are just leaving me in charge of you. You're a newborn baby. Come on.
She's like, man. And then we cut back to, oh, by the way, the Goblin King's name is Jareth.
Oh, yeah, Jareth.
Jareth, the Goblin King.
What?
So
It's
we
like
cut back.
they had two names that it could have been. Like, before the Goblin King was born, they're like, oh, I really like the name Jared. And it's like, well, I really like the name, like, Kenneth.
Gareth.
I don't know what other names.
They put it together.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, yeah. Guy sucks. He's just angry
Jareth.
because his name sucks.
No one likes a Jareth. Jareth is just a name that makes you go, you know what? Not going to be friends with you.
I bet you Jareth has
We'll
a
be
great
co-workers,
origin
I'll tolerate
story
you,
similar
we'll
to
not
like
be
the
friends.
Grinch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Just misunderstood.
Honestly, if Jim Carrey played Jareth, I don't know.
Way better.
You know who they
could be
were going to
interesting.
have play him? Michael Jackson. Yes.
No.
And Bon
come
Jovi,
on.
actually. They wanted Bon Jovi,
Why
but
did
he
they-
turned it down.
They wanted only musical stars, eh? What the fuck?
Well, they wanted Bon Jovi, and then Jim Henson, who directed, he decided, or his kids, like, begged him to get David Bowie to do it.
Oh, really? What the fuck?
And he did.
So much pull.
Because he...
These children.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I couldn't picture the other two. That would be
Yeah, it'd be...
I could weirdly picture John Bowie in it. I could.
that would be weird.
can't. Yeah,
They were
I
just like,
can't
we
see
can't
that
get
at all.
John, we can't get Bon Jovi. Let's get David Bowie. It sort of rhymes. So let's just get him.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Works.
So this is the scene. This is the
Oh?
Power of Voodoo scene, right? That we're up on.
This...
The dance
don't
magic
know.
dance song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
The-
cut
the
back to
dance
Jareth
magic
in his
dance.
castle.
See?
He's
Dancing
sitting
in
on
the
his
streets.
throne. Dancing in
Yeah.
the street. And he's sitting on his throne. There's like goblins and like chickens and shit just like hanging around,
Cute. Nice.
doing their thing. And they're all
Yeah.
having fun. And he's like, wow, I feel left out. So he stands up and he starts to sing and dance. It has absolutely nothing to do with the plot in any way, shape, or form. He's just saying a bunch of random shit and like kicking goblins and chickens and shit around the room. And he picks
Does
up
he actually
Toby
kick
and
them?
he's just like tossing him up in the air.
No.
Like tossing him
come
up
on.
in the air that like the top of his head goes to like the roof. That's how high.
Yeah.
It was a
You
puppet
don't
baby,
do that to a
but
baby.
still.
You guys seen Mother?
No,
He
not
That's
at
what
all.
I'm
did.
envisioning.
I have
Mother?
not seen that movie.
Like the Jennifer
Oh
Lawrence film?
man. Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
You wanna
what did
see
they
a
do to
baby
in that
get-
film? I haven't seen that in years.
Are you fucked? Oh
You-
my god.
Did they eat the baby or
throw-
something?
They do, but prior to that, they throw it up and down until it fucking breaks in half, basically.
Oh,
Jesus.
ironic.
I didn't.
Love it.
Alenka, Darren Aronofsky fan, I guess. You got Requiem,
Yeah, Requiem for a
you
Dream
got
and Mother.
Mother.
Yeah, I just like to
Oh, no.
traumatize
You
myself.
Black Swan. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. I guess I am. What do you know? We found my niche. So Bowie's chucking a baby up.
He's just
Yeah.
chucking baby,
They literally fucking like
kicking
throw it high.
chickens and goblins, doing his thing.
Having a time.
Doing
They
his
do
little
the
dancey
song.
dance.
Yeah, the magic. They do the song, and he's
What's
just
the
like,
song?
it starts off, and David Boy's like, you remind me of the babe,
What, babe?
the babe with the power of voodoo.
What?
Voodoo?
Excuse
You
me.
do.
You do, yeah.
Do
It's a
what?
very strange song.
Wait, is he?
It just
is
has
he s-
absolutely nothing to do with anything.
Is he singing to Miss Jennifer Connelly, or is he just also saying both parts?
Oh no.
No,
He's just singing to goblins and the baby.
no, this is a real
Okay.
narrative break. They're like, because
Okay.
generally movies should follow one person's perspective, like this movie
Right.
would, but this jumps, and she's
Doesn't
never
want
seen
to.
this scene. This is not
She'll
her
never
experience.
see it.
This is from Jareth's point of view. This scene.
Yuck. The worst.
No sense.
But that's why
I
the
hate
name.
that.
That's why the name of the drink is the power of voodoo.
Okay, thank you. Mansplaining,
And
asshole.
the babe is obviously Toby, and
Right.
they're like, we're gonna turn you into a goblin in 12 hours or whatever it is.
It's only
10
been
hours
1
maybe.
hour in there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's been a couple hours. I think because at the end of the song he says, in 9 hours and 23 minutes you will be mine.
Yucky.
Ooh,
Mhm.
wow,
He's like,
2.5 hours.
Yuck.
Gonna have myself a new goblin buddy.
Yeah. It's
What a
just like, is
selfish-
that, which is really horrifying if all those goblins are just fucking
We're children.
kidnapped
Yeah.
babies.
They probably were.
Yeah.
How else would he build it?
That's what they point to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Well,
I like it.
you know,
Yeah.
I like it. I want to
like
have
it.
children that way.
Like, where's little Johnny? Like on the milk cartons? Well, he's a goblin actually now.
Sorry.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Sorry, mom and dad. Don't even start.
Labyrinth is a documentary, y'all.
Oh my god.
Don't.
Who is
Ugh,
David
hate
Bowie,
that.
really?
Ew.
Oh, God.
Stop.
He needs to remain pure, just like Mr.
Pure.
Rogers in my mind.
Same.
Sure.
We love
Yes.
David Bowie in this house.
Okay.
David Bowie stands over here.
We are.
Okay, we already did the stands thing.
Yeah.
Bring
We
back
still
stands,
don't get it.
please. I was born in 1999. I need this.
I need this.
I
I don't
this.
understand stands. Can't.
I think it just means, from what I've been told, it means
See,
like
no one
obsessive
fucking knows.
fan.
Oh,
I told you what it means. It means we already got into it last week.
I know.
We talked about it. We're Queen Latifah stands and we're David Bowie stands. That's
DBQL
official stands
stands.
of this
Labyrinth
podcast.
remake with Queen Latifah as Jar.
Queen Latifah.
Oh,
Exactly.
oh.
Why would it actually be good though?
It would be.
I'd
Would it
watch
be amazing?
I'd fund it.
Oh.
So she's going down the labyrinth, and then she reaches into her pocket. She realizes she has lipstick on her pocket, in her pocket. And so she starts to mark arrows on the tiles whenever she goes a direction, so she knows where she's going. And then every time she leaves, this tiny little person comes up from like underneath the tiles, turns them or flips them upside down.
Come on.
Yeah, so they
That's
either like
rude.
disappear or they're pointing in a different direction. And she's like, oh man. But eventually she gets to this these two doors with these two creatures beside it. I forget what they look like. They're like, there's faces on the top and then there's faces on like the bottom.
Oh yeah, it's basically just like it's like four dudes almost, and it's like each dude is holding the other dude's leg. Like that's what like
What?
definitely how they did this costume,
Yeah.
but like
It's weird.
it's
What?
one piece kind of.
But they don't look human. They're
Basically
goblins.
got like a crotch voice and a top voice sort of going on
What
here.
a crotch voice?
And
Okay.
a lot of the humor and a lot of the like physical comedy is very Monty Python, because the Monty Python
Okay.
guys helped write this, or at least
Did
Terry
they?
Jones wrote it.
Cool.
Just Terry Jones from Monty Python.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she gets there and she's like, oh my god, like she sees one of the little goblin guys changing her marks, like flipping it around. And she's like, someone's been changing my marks, like that's not fair.
Mm.
And then
Mhm.
these two crotch goblin guys,
Crotch
Croblins.
Goblin.
the crotch goblins, are like,
Ooh.
that's right, it's not fair.
I remember when I had a case of the Crotch Goblins. No.
Yeah.
Well, fuck off.
I called a child a crotch goblin on a walk the other day to my mother, and she thought it was funny. Yeah.
I didn't know crotch goblins was a thing so prevalent in some other people's lives.
It's coming up. It is.
All these goblins were crotch goblins that a bunch of people didn't want.
Eventually.
Unwanted goblins.
Once upon a time.
You're right.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
So crotch gob is like,
so
you're
they're
right, it's
like-
not fair.
Yeah, they're like, haha, not fair. Sucks to be you. And then she's like, well, this was a dead end a minute ago. And he's like, no, that's the dead end behind you. She turns around. She's like, okay, well, like, the labyrinth keeps changing. What am I supposed to do? And the guard on the left he's like, well, the only way out of here is to try one of these doors. And the guard on the right says, one of them leads to the castle at the center of the labyrinth, and the other one leads to certain death. She's like, okay, which one's which?
Kai.
Loophole, which one's which? And then the crotch goblins point up to the goblins on top. And they're like, oh, but they do. They know, like, which one is which. She's like, okay, I'll ask them. And then the guard on the left, this is so confusing. I had to write this one down because there's no way for my mind to comprehend this.
I really blanked on a lot of this movie. I'm like,
What?
it's like, oh, yeah, this happens.
So the guard on the left says, you can't ask us, you can only ask one of us. And then the
Oh
right
my
guard
God.
says, yeah, it's in the rules, but I should warn you, one of us always tells the truth, and one of us always lies. That's a rule too.
Yikes.
He always lies, and he points to the guard on the left.
It's just a fucking her up.
It's
Confusing as
awful.
hell.
That's some
And
boo
so they go
honky.
back and forth, being like, I tell the truth, he lies, blah, blah, blah. And then
Yeah.
Sarah's like, okay. So she says, all right, so answer yes or no. Would he tell me that this door leads to the castle? And the left guard is like, yes. And she says, okay, well then the other door to the castle and this door leads to certain death. And she's like, yeah. And the guards are like, they look amazed. They're like, wow, she did it. So
She knew.
smart.
She's amazing. She's Grace.
But then the left
She's
guard's like,
wondrous.
how do you know he could be telling the truth? And she says, but then you wouldn't be. So if you told me he'd say yes, I know the answer is no. So she's like, yeah, like, fuck you guys. I'm going through the door. I know which door is right.
I would have not been
And
able
she
to have
goes
kept up
through.
with that.
I still can't.
Yeah.
Well,
So she goes through the door, and then she just falls.
Come
and
on.
then she's falling down this tunnel of hands, which are
Oh, creepy.
handsy, if you will.
oh yeah, they're all just like,
Oh,
grab it and touch it. They're like bringing her down as she's falling, but also stopping her.
To
but then
talk.
letting
They
her go.
they do this little
Yeah.
hand thing where they're like, how do they do
Hand
it?
puppets. It's like two hands and then a third hand's down.
Yeah, they
here
have
with
like
the
two hands as
mouth.
eyes, and then one's like me,
Oh,
me, me,
what?
me, me.
Yeah, one's maybe like the nose. Like it's all
what
hands.
the hell?
It's all hands. It's like, but it's like cute, creepy, like fantastical Jim
Creepy
Henson puppet hands. It's not.
Cute, creepy.
It's not like The Grudge or like weird like Room of Hands that would be absolutely
Sure.
terrifying anywhere else.
Sure, because
They
yeah,
call
Room of
themselves
Hands is
helping
not
hands.
terrifying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's like, help, help. And they're like, what do you mean? We're helping hands. We're helping hands. She's like, well, you're hurting. And then they're like, oh, would you like us to let us go? And they let her go for a second, and then they catch her again. And then they're like, okay, well, like, which way do you want to go? She's like, which way? Like, yeah, like up or down. She's like, I don't know. And they're like, okay, well, we don't have all day. We're hands. We've got stuff to do. And then she says, okay, like, I'll go down. And they're like, did she choose down? Like, did she choose down? And then they let her go, and then she just falls into, like, this hole.
Just drops.
She just drops.
Smacks.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
the end of the movie.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
She dies. Toby's little goblin.
Little gob gob.
Jareth gets an even bigger bulge. Happily
Ew.
It
Oh.
grows, I swear to God.
Don't.
Throughout the movie,
Don't.
he puts, like, an extra pair of socks in there.
Yeah,
Extra pair of
and a
magic
cucumber or
balls.
something. And
God.
so at some point, eventually, like she finds Hoggle again, Mr.
Okay.
Hoggle.
What happened
Yeah,
to the
so
bottom
she
of this
drops down
pit?
into... So she drops down, and we cut back to Jareth and his castle. And he's like, she's in the oubliette. Like, she shouldn't have gotten as far as the oubliette. She should have given up by now.
What the fuck's a oubliette? What's a oubliette?
Oubliette,
It's a fake word.
It's, I believe, in, like, medieval times, it was like this dark hole
Oubliette.
prison cell where people were put in to be forgotten about.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it's like the torture chambers.
It's literally
you know?
just like a dark pit,
Okay.
no way out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
fun times.
just the
Oubliette.
best.
Sounds so nice, though.
So
Go to
yeah,
the
so
oubliette.
yeah,
The oubliette.
yeah. So he sends Hoggle the
Yeah.
goblin
Haggle.
to like help her to like help
he wants him to
Mm.
bring her back to the beginning of the labyrinth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bring her right back to the beginning. Fuck her shit up.
Yeah.
So they meet up. She thinks he's good and is helping her out, but really he's supposed to be bringing her back.
Yeah, and then he brings her like a different way, and he's trying to help her get out of the oubliette because she's like, yeah, well, like, we friends now. And
Yeah.
then
And he's like, I've never had a friend.
Yeah.
Aw.
Is this friendship I'm feeling?
He's cute, but he
Yeah.
has like this little pouch of like coins and gems on his hip. And first, he won't help her get out, so she takes it and like holds it above his head. She's like, "Well, if you want this back, like, you're gonna get me out.
Help me."
He's like, "Okay, fine." And then they hear this like clinking, and then they go down a hallway and they see like this cloaked figure with like this hat with a metal cup, like clinking it with something in it. What does he say? Hoggle, he's like, "Oh no." And Sarah's like, "What?" Like, "What is this thing?" He's like, "It's nothing." And then the cloaked figure is like, "Nothing, tra-la-la." And then he takes off his cloak, and it's Jareth.
It's Jareth.
It's Jareth.
It's always Jareth.
Yeah.
Tra-la-la.
I mean? It's weird the way he says it. It like sticks in your mind. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Ew.
Nothing, tra-la-la. And Hoggle's like, "Oh, Your Majesty, what a nice surprise." And Jareth's like, "Hello, Hedgewort." And Sarah's like,
Ew,
"Hogwart."
what?
And then Hoggle's like, "It's Hoggle." Like, they always call him the wrong name. I would like to point out one thing. We have this suspicious-looking Harry Potter owl at the beginning.
Yep.
And then they call him Hogwart. So
Yeah.
I'm saying J.K. Rowling's a thief. Because this came out before the first Harry Potter book.
Yeah, she's definitely.
Probs. Most absolutely.
Thief.
Yes.
So Jareth's like, "Are you helping her?" And he's like, "No, I'm just like bringing her back
Taking
to the
her a different
beginning like I was
way. I'm not helping
supposed
her."
to."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, if I thought for 1 second you're betraying me, I'd be forced to suspend you headfirst into the bog of eternal stench."
Oh.
And Hoggle's like, "Oh God, no."
Not the eternal
You do not want to go to the
stench.
bog.
He's like, "Does not sound like a good time to me."
No.
So he ignores Hoggle after that. He's like, "Oh, and Sarah, like, how are you enjoying my labyrinth?" And she's like, "It's a piece of cake, David Bowie. Thank you very much." He's like, "Oh." He's like, "Well then, how about upping the stakes?" And he's like, points to like this other magical clock that just appears, and he turns it back 3 hours, so she has 3 hours less.
No.
So she's at what?
Yeah.
About 6 hours, 5 hours at
This
this point left.
Dumb
to get.
bitch. Just don't stop running her mouth.
Yeah, and she's
It's true. It's true.
It's so bad.
Like, it's all punishment for her lack of manners.
Yeah.
So she looks at the clock and she's like, "Oh my God, it's not fair." And he's like, "Girl, you say that a lot."
It's
Girl.
not fair.
He literally says, he's like, "You say that so often. Like, I wonder what your basis for comparison is. So if the labyrinth is a piece of cake, we'll see how you deal with this little slice." And then you see this, like, machine with, what is it, like knives or something on the end. Like this huge machine that's just barreling towards them. And Hoggle's like,
Fun.
"Oh, damn, it's the cleaners. We better run."
Yeah.
So they
The
run
cleaners?
and they...
That's not how you clean. You don't clean things with knives.
No.
It's
Not
just-
usually.
They call
not
it the
good.
cleaners, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just call
It's
the
pretty
cleaners.
terrifying.
It doesn't look like a party to me.
Yeah.
No.
And then they escape, but then they hear this like just howling. It sounds like an evil, bad creature
Yeah.
in the distance, and Huggle gets scared and runs away like a little bitch.
Aw. He doesn't like where he
And
lives.
she's all like, "Why'd you run away?" So she's by herself, and all the creatures are afraid of this beast that she finds in this like, it's like a furry, fluffy, weird looking.
It has like horns.
Beast. Yeah,
It's
horns.
ginormous. It's like the
Yes.
size of a...
Very where the wild things are,
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
But the beast, this beast is actually like stuck,
It's
Aw.
hanging upside down.
hanging upside
Huh.
down. All the other creatures are running away, but Sarah like helps him get down.
Yeah, they have these
He's
little...
being tortured.
These goblins have these little... They look like naked mole rats with like vampire fangs on a
What the
stick.
fuck?
And they keep jabbing
Oh.
this beast with the stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And then he roars, and then Sarah's like, oh, if only I had like something to help him with. And then this rock just like rolls into her foot. She's like, great, I can use
Perfect.
that.
There you go.
So she starts throwing these rocks that are magically coming her way at the goblins who have like helmets on, and then they keep thinking it's each other who are hitting them, and then they just start fighting each other.
What a bunch of ding dongs.
They just start fighting each other. And they run away because they're trying to kill each other with naked mole rats on sticks.
Yeah.
What
So
the
she makes a
fuck?
brand new friend. His name's Ludo.
Cute.
And he says,
He's a big
"Sawa
furry
friend."
Sawa
Exactly.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Sawa friend."
Friend.
That's so cute. I'm
He's
starting
very
to like
cute,
this
but he
movie
can't say his
now.
R's.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then I think like there's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie.
It's
I
like
realize.
ridiculously jam-packed.
I don't know
full stuff.
exactly what happens next. I just know that like she gets separated from Ludo and meets just a wonderful bunch of creatures called, are they fairies? Furries? Firies.
No, I hate this part.
This part's the
What?
worst.
It is
What?
nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
What?
It's also it's
Oh my
I don't know,
God,
it's-
what
I guess I wouldn't call it
happens?
cultural. I wouldn't call it like cultural appropriation,
Oh,
but
we gotta
they're
cut back a
all.
little bit. There's
Oh, do
one
we?
part that's important.
Oh wait, okay.
So Sarah and Ludo are out doing their thing, walking, and then Hoggle's by himself. Well,
Oh
Sorry.
yes, this is very important. Yeah.
Hoggle's by himself, and Jareth comes back and he's like, "Hey, yo, here's a peach. Give it to Sarah."
The fuck?
And he's like, he's like, "I don't want to hurt her." And he's like, "Well, do it anyway." He's like, "Tough. I'm a king of goblins. Give her this peach." He's like, "Okay." Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. And then the fireys happen.
Yeah.
Wait, did she eat the peach?
He also
Or he
says
hasn't-
no. He has the peach. He has to give her the peach, according to
Yeah.
Jareth.
He's just holding
And
it right
also,
now.
Jareth says like, it's like, oh, you like? He's like, oh, you like this girl? Do you think she's gonna like you back or something? Like, if she kisses you, I'll send you to the eternal stench of the bog.
Is it a monster?
The bog of eternal stench.
It's
a
literally
beast,
just
though.
like a swamp that smells like eternal stench.
Yeah,
But
we will get to
Sarah's
there.
gonna
Trust
kiss
me.
a monster?
Well,
Who's the
We'll
monster
see.
you're thinking of? Hoggle is just a gentle
Hoggle. He's a gentle goblin.
with a strange
Monster.
Boston accent.
Yeah,
Okay.
who likes to piss with his pants all the way down.
All the way
Nothing
down.
wrong with that, Alenka. Nothing wrong with that.
Please don't be the person who pisses at the urinal with their pants down.
So much
Around their
wrong with
ankles.
that. I know, please. We're begging you.
Oh. All right. So yes, that, and then she's meeting the Fieries.
Fireys.
I don't know.
Guy Fieri's.
Guy Fieri's.
Fieri's.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop trying last week's
Yeah.
episode.
These guys are like, they're like orange headed.
Their whole body is
Real
orange.
skinny.
They're really like
Their whole body is
tall,
orange.
gangly.
How small? Oh. Long boys.
They're taller. I think they're bigger than her.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty big. It's hard to tell because this whole scene is green screened
It's so
pretty
bad.
badly.
Ugh.
Oh no.
And they look like birds, but like with
Hands and
human like
feet.
bodies that are
What the
Limbs.
covered in fur, hands and feet. They
But
got
the
big
fur's
ears.
kind of feathery and
They
it's
all sort of talk they all sort of have a Jamaican accent of some sort, or like
It's a
definitely
choice.
they have an island
It's a
accent, which is
choice.
very
weird. It's a choice.
yeah. It's and they sing
It's
a
a
song
choice.
that's very, I feel like Caribbean, maybe. I don't know. It's very
Okay.
The
something
song
like
is literally just like
Or
them
reggae.
saying like lose your head or something, and they keep like taking each other's heads off and like
Oh
throwing
yeah,
them.
they can detach their own
Oh.
heads, and they want to take off her head.
Cute.
No. But they, towards the end of the song, they start getting like pretty rough with her and like pushing her around. And so she starts taking their heads off and just like shucking them across.
Yeah.
And
Fuck them.
Hoggle finally finds her and like pulling her away. He's like, "You better run." And then the Fireys are like, "Oh, like you cheated. Like you're not allowed to. You can only take off your own head, not ours. Now we gotta take your head off."
Oh no.
And she's like, "My head doesn't come off. Better run. Like,
Yeah.
gotta blast."
Yeah.
I don't have those. I don't
Gotta
have that kind of
blast.
those parts to be able to take it off.
Like,
So yeah, so
blast.
Hoggle saves her, and in return, Sarah, thankful for her
Kisses
life,
him.
kisses him on the forehead.
Oh.
On the
Wow.
forehead.
And Hoggle's like,
Yikes.
"No, don't."
Still counts. Yeah,
Mhm.
he's like, "No,
Oh,
you don't know what
no.
will happen." And
Oh,
Jarek's like, "Still
no.
counts. It does not have to be on the lips. Still counts on the forehead. I told you. I'm sending you to the eternal bog."
Oh my
And then the rocks just like fall out from under them, and they start like barreling towards the bog of eternal stench. But
Yikes.
they catch
Which is
themselves.
essentially just a big swamp with like an
big
actual
stinky
asshole farting in the middle of it.
No,
Yeah.
you're kidding. Come on.
No, it's literally just like burping and farting.
Stop.
And it's like the little, almost like a mini volcano, but more just like, you know, like a prolapsed
butt.
asshole or something.
Yeah.
It's very, very bad.
Yummy.
Come on. Ew.
Yeah, it's farting and burping the whole time. It's shitty down there, no pun intended.
Yeah. So they're
Yuck.
stuck
What the fuck?
hanging from like this tree branch, and Ludo's
Ludo's there
back.
too. Yeah.
He's like, "Hey guys, it's me."
This is where I go to the
Ludo,
washroom. Why are
Ludo.
you guys here?
Yeah. He's like, "This is actually just like my living room.
Yeah.
Welcome."
Aw.
But Sarah and Hoggle are like, "Oh my god, help us. We're gonna stink forever if we touch this fog." And
Right.
This actual open asshole.
yeah,
Ew.
Ludo just starts like
Ugh.
roaring, and these rocks rise up out of the bog,
The butt.
which there's a little bit of a plot hole in here, because wouldn't the rocks still have touched the bog of eternal stench? So when they drop down onto them, they would still touch it?
And therefore smell?
I don't know. True.
I
Definitely.
would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So it's getting nasty.
Yeah. But
So yeah.
yeah, they meet the guard or something of the swamp. He guards the swamp.
okay.
His name is Didymus.
Sir
They have
Didymus.
some cool name. That's a good name.
And he's sort of like Fantastic Mr. Fox, but
Yeah,
a little
he's a
more
fox.
demented.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a fox, and he rides a sheepdog.
That looks
Cool.
like her dog from the beginning. But the
Yeah.
sheepdog is a
Mm.
puppet.
It's a puppet, but then sometimes it's a real dog. They'll like cut to like the sheepdog's like face as a puppet, but then
What?
in like wider shots when he's riding the
a real
sheepdog, it's the
dog,
real
yeah.
dog with a
What the
puppet on his
fuck?
back.
What?
Ambrosius is the dog's name. Ambrosius.
Cool. Good names.
Esteemed.
Okay.
And yeah, he's like, "I'm up for this adventure. I'm down. I'm gonna join you."
So he's just riding this dog and so they're out of this bog now, or what? Did they ride the
Yeah,
dog to get
so-
out?
No.
Okay.
Just all of them.
Yeah.
Ludo, who is like
They all ride
40
the dog.
times the size of this dog.
I don't know the
Get
size of this
some.
dog.
Giddy up. It's a little bit bigger than the fox guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the fox guy is probably like this big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big.
Small. For
Listeners,
those
you
at
can't see
home,
my
it's quite
hands, but
small.
it's yes, it's about the size,
Size of an average
of
torso.
a baby.
Or
Yes.
a baby.
So they start walking, going towards the castle again, and Hoggle falls back a bit, and he takes the peach out of his pocket and goes to
Oh,
throw
yes.
it into the bog. And then
Oh.
Jareth's voice just like pops into his head. He's like, "I wouldn't do that if I were you."
Oh no.
And he's like, oh man, like I can't give it to her. And he's like, well,
I like
They
to
do it
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, just do
But
what I say, man.
she gets hungry. She's like,
No.
it's been like 4 hours in this place. I'm famished.
Whatever the bare naked is.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's kind of like, yeah, well, I got this peach, but
No way.
it's my peach.
Yeah.
I was saving
Okay.
this peach for me. I was gonna eat it. Yeah. And she's like, bitch, give me the peach.
He's like, height. Bitch, give me the peach. Oh.
Oh, but she takes the peach and she eats it.
No.
And
And then she gets like really tired all of a sudden.
yeah.
Oh,
And she sits
died.
down. She done. In the
yeah.
end, she dies from peach
Yeah.
poisoning.
The end.
Yeah.
Jeez.
From peach poisoning. We already did that movie. It's called Parasite.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so she gets really sleepy, sits down, and then we see Jareth again with his little balls in his hands, like dwindling them around. And he starts like
It's crystal
This
balls.
time his
he's like
real
sitting on the
ones.
window ledge, dwindling his balls around, and he's like releasing them into the air. And then his balls find Sarah.
Yuck.
And you start hearing this like really pretty, like light music.
Mhm.
And
then it's the fucked up creepy scene
yeah.
of the
Okay.
movie.
And then she
Tell me
falls asleep,
more.
and then suddenly this song starts to play called As the World Falls Down. And it's 99.99% a love song.
Okay.
Mhm.
And she's in this beautiful, like, ball gown that looks like a bubble. Because her dream's coming from his bubble balls.
His
Okay,
big
yes,
old
his
crystal
big
balls.
balls.
Big old crystal balls.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And she has classic 80s hair. It's going on.
Oh yeah.
Cute.
And it's like this big like ballroom dance. Like
Everyone's
it's a
wearing
gathering.
masks except her.
No goblins in sight.
Just
All
peeps.
Peoples.
elves. We'll just call them elves. They're
Okay.
probably, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. They're people. They're humans. but
I think
idiots.
in the book, they're actually like fae creatures.
What that?
I don't know. It's like
I totally know what that is.
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
I also don't know.
it means they're like, I don't know. Fae is like the pagan. Oh God, I hope no one who's pagan listens to this and shits all over me because I don't know. But it's like the pagan belief for like fairy
I feel like
creatures.
Rob and Shauna will be like all
otherworldly.
over this.
Oh
They'll
no!
know. They'll know. They'll know. They'll tell us.
Hell no.
Oh no! Cut.
Cut it.
All I know is like fae are. I'm so scared now. No. Okay, let's just forget that I said that.
They're just peeps.
They're just
Oh, yeah.
people. They're just people
But-
in masks.
Yeah, and who is also there is the Goblin King Jareth, and he is packing a bulge, and in very very great.
This isn't even
outfit.
peak bulge for him yet.
No, he has
Yikes.
not reached peak.
Nope.
It's not threat level midnight bulge yet.
Oh
No.
my god. I'm so stressed.
And so he's dancing around with her, singing his little love song. And then she starts. It starts getting like really trippy and like spinny.
Mhm.
And she's
he's
looking
holding
around.
her.
Yeah.
Like he's hugging her and holding her.
He's like
which
real
is,
close.
but the way they're like looking
Nice.
at each other before then, as she's like approaching him, it's very much just like, this is weird, David Bowie. This is kind of weird,
What?
Mr. Bulge.
Mr.
It's getting a
Bulge.
little too creepy.
Mr. Bulge.
This is a 14-year-old girl, Mr. Bowie.
Okay.
I read somewhere that this was a supposed to be interpreted as her wanting to give up like the childlike self she was, like with all her toys in her room and that, and
True.
like she wanted to kind of grow up. But then
One way to
she
do
starts
that
getting
real
like
quick.
Yeah. She starts getting really like dizzy and trippy, and she's looking around. She's like, oh shit. And she runs away and she grabs this like chair and she just hits it against what looks like a bubble wall. Looks like there's a glass wall that's just curved around them. She hits it, it shatters. We see a scene of her like blocking her face from glass shards, and everyone else like turned upside down, like floating in the air.
What the
And the
hell?
illusion is shattered, quite
Yeah.
literally,
Yes.
if you will.
And then
I'm
she like
confused.
wakes up in her bed, right? That's what happens.
What?
Yeah, she wakes up in her bed.
Yeah. And it's like she's kind of forgotten, or like she thinks it was all a dream of some
Okay.
sort. And she's not exactly sure what she needs to do.
No, we're wrong. She didn't wake up in her
No?
bed. She woke up in like
Oh.
a junkyard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she woke up
You're
in a
right.
junkyard and she's like, uh-oh, I'm in a
Where am I?
junkyard. Oopsie daisy. And there's this like hoarder junk lady who's a goblin, and she has like just a giant pile of shit on her back.
Nice.
I wish I worded that better.
Nice.
It
It's
is.
just junk.
It is. It's just a
Yeah, it's
bunch
just
of
junk.
shit.
Yeah. Just
And do you remember what she says?
No. See,
She's very
am I
much
getting this
like,
all wrong?
cracked out.
I thought she wakes up
cute.
in her room and she's like, it was all a dream, and then the junk lady just like fucking blows open the door and you see like this like
Yeah,
junk
She
land.
wakes up confused
on.
and she's like, hey, yo, what's going on? And the junk lady is like, well, what are you looking for? And she finds
She's like my
her
fucking
bear,
Beretta.
Lancelot.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it finds her bear.
She
yes.
finds her bear, Lancelot, like in the junk pile on the lady. And she's like, oh, like, I know this thing. This is my teddy bear.
My tea
And she's
bear.
like, oh, she's like, well, like, I have, like, she's like, well, like, I have way more of your stuff. Like, let's go get it. And then she opens up this door in this big junk pile, and it's her bedroom.
Yeah, it's her bedroom. Yes,
Okay.
yes. I did the reverse. I thought she woke up in her bedroom and then the door opened and it was a junk pile.
Okay.
Reverse it. Reverse.
Reverse.
And yeah, she's in her bedroom and she's like, oh, I'm back home.
Yeah. The junk lady starts like going through all her stuff and like giving it to her, like making her hold it. She's like, oh, look at this. Like, oh, this is pretty. Like, I like this, blah, blah, blah. And
Oh,
Sarah's
creepy.
like, what's going on? And then she's like, it's all junk. Like, she's looking at her stuff. She's like, it's all junk. And the junk lady is like, oh, like, well, what about this? And she holds up her music box. And her music box is actually, we do see it in the beginning of the film. It looks like her in the bubble dress that she was wearing in the dream sequence.
Ah.
So we see it at the beginning of the film and now. And Sarah's like, yeah, it's like, it's all junk. And then she starts to remember, and then everything starts caving in on her room as the junk pile is like collapsing. So she's like, oh god, we gotta go. And she gets herself out of there. And then like Didymus, Ludo are both
Yeah,
there.
she reunites with them.
She
Ludo
finds her
and Didymus.
plans.
Okay.
Yeah. They're outside of the
Weird.
castle now. They made it to the castle
What?
somehow. It's very
Okay.
weird. It gets very confusing. And then there's this giant there's this guard in the gate. Like it's like the doors close, and then embedded into the doors of the castle is this like robot guard.
In the script, they call it Wall Monster.
Wall monster.
Nice.
The Wall Monster.
But he like comes out and he's got this big axe and he's like fucking
Coming for
trying
you.
to kill them basically with this giant ass axe.
Cute.
Oh, jeez.
But then
Cute.
but
So many
Hoggle
cute
shows up
things.
and saves them. I forget how he does it.
He gets up on like the machine because it's like two axes
Oh,
going like beep,
yeah,
beep, beep,
yeah.
beep, beep. He gets up on the machine and there's another goblin in there just like driving it.
Mm,
And he's like, get your ass out of this car.
yeah.
Get
this is
out.
Star Wars style. Just like
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
right on top of the AT&T, whatever, ATT.
Yeah. I feel like the next
AT&T,
5 minutes,
America's biggest
the next
cell phone
5 minutes
provider.
is hard to explain.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
could probably breeze through it, but
It's just them fighting a bunch of goblins.
yeah, that's what I said. This is where the whole ass village comes in. So
Yeah.
they get through the gates of like where the
What?
castle is, but there's like any kingdom, there's like, the village
Right, yeah,
Little
yes.
peoples.
to like
Yes.
the actual castle. So they get
There
in
must
there
be.
and all these goblins are like
Little houses.
fucking ready
and-
ready to throw bows, throw fists. And
Yeah.
so they just fight their way through all the goblins.
Yeah.
Sir Didymus like rides his trusty steed through everyone with fucking jousting. He jousts someone, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cute.
And so all Sarah's friends are like, okay, get to the castle. We'll like beat the shit out of the rest of them. She's like, great.
Yeah. Oh, prior to this, Sarah forgives Hoggle for tricking her.
Oh yeah, he's like, sorry,
Okay.
man, I
You're the
poisoned
peach.
you. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my god, I keep
Sorry.
missing like fun little things. When she wakes up in the junk pile, she looks at the peach that's still in her hand. There's like this worm crawling out of it.
Yuck.
Oh
Ugh.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gross.
not nice.
like James and the Giant Peach,
I love that
Oh.
movie.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they're fighting. It's pretty actually cool scene because it mixes like her in there with all these puppets, and there's like these buildings, and
Mhm.
the shot like goes
Yes.
up the building with puppets.
It's great
and-
sets.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like really good.
really, because all
Okay.
practical sets at this part, not crappy green screen or digital owls, but
Nope.
Cool.
So inside the castle, the clock strikes that there's there's I can't speak words. Help. I'm
there's like
getting-
what? And is there
I'm
an
getting up on
hour
the drunk
left?
scale.
or is it
Yeah,
like
no.
20 minutes left or 15 minutes?
15.
15.
Yeah.
15 is.
So the
yeah.
clock strikes that
baby.
there's only 15 minutes left, and Jareth is just like sitting on his throne with Toby in his lap. And this goblin messenger comes in,
Ew.
and he's like, Your Highness, it's her. And Jareth's like, what? And he's like, the girl who ate the peach.
I did not plan for this. Yeah, the girl who ate the peach.
The girl who ate
That's
the
her
peach.
name. That's
Like, she-
all she's known for.
Yeah, she forgot everything.
the
So she
hell?
must have been out for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, she's coming to get you. Better run.
Sorry.
And he's like, okay, hide the baby, blah, blah, blah. And then Sarah's friends are like, okay, get out of here, go get him, girl.
Yeah. Go fuck him up. And so she goes, and then they're in this fucking optical illusion of a room where it's like, it's very Harry Potter too. She did steal this. J.K. Rowling
She
stole.
did.
She's a thief.
I've seen this
J.K.
movie.
Rowling is a
We
thief
are
podcast
not
now,
J.K.
okay?
Rowling stands.
No. I saw this movie
Because-
at least 15 times. And just
Yeah.
like when I watched it last week, I was like, that
Ah,
trifling asshole.
trifling
God.
ass.
So this room they're in is like,
Wow.
upside down staircases everywhere. It's apparently modeled after MC Escher's Relativity.
Mhm.
Sure. Yep.
And dare
Um,
I say, this song is even creepier than the Ballroom Love Song. How do you even explain this?
It's like he's walking upside down. Toby's like being a
upside
baby
down,
somewhere
doing his
upside down,
thing.
and she's trying to get to him, and he's throwing his balls around, and Toby catches one of the balls.
What? It's a baby. You can't catch yet.
Dareth is just throwing his balls
It's
around.
a great shot because it's clearly in reverse, so that it
Yeah, because
the
he's at
baby
the
basically
Toby's
throws
sitting
the
at
ball,
the top of
but
the
it's like,
stairs,
whoop.
but the ball is
Okay.
going up
Yeah.
Okay.
into his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a really creepy line. Oh, he's like, how am I supposed to live without your sunlight, love without your heartbeat? I can't live within you. Like, those are the lyrics.
Yikes.
Hello! This is
Yeah.
2021.
Does
Hello!
not age well.
I mean, I don't think it was good then either.
Okay.
It flopped at the box office.
Yeah.
Did it really?
He was bad.
How did this become good?
Yeah.
She's like basically like also trying to like recite the lines from the book from like the beginning.
And
Yeah.
so she's just like, I'm gonna jump. And she just jumps off into the abyss.
Yikes.
And then she floats down. She floats down to like this weird, how do you explain this scene? It's like this snowy kind of.
What the fuck?
How I would explain this is like if you took like a slab of like marble ground and put it in the middle of space.
What the fuck?
Like that's how it looks like. There's nothing around them.
That's
There's
what
like
it
a
is.
tree. And so he shows up. He shows up and he's wearing this like feathery like owl garb, if you will.
Yes.
He pretty much looks like an owl. And this is where we finally see DB at full bulge.
I knew it was coming.
Rocking it.
Finally.
Yeah. This is his final form. The final boss.
God.
Yeah, so she gets there and she looks at Jareth and she's like, yo, give me the child. And he's like, Sarah,
she's saying the lines like from the beginning of the movie, but she still can't remember that last line.
Right.
He's like, beware, like I've been generous up till now, but I can be cruel. She's like, generous? Like, what have you done that's generous? He's like,
I've been generous with that bulge, girl.
He's like, you asked the child to be taken away and I took him.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, I have reordered time. I've turned the world upside down and I've done it all for you. I'm exhausted from living up to your expectations. Like, isn't that generous? Oof. And then she's like starting to recite the first line. She's like, through dangers untold and hardships unnumbered, fought my way to the castle beyond the goblin city. My will is strong as yours and my king. And she can't remember. And he's like, stop.
Don't say the line.
He's like, stop, wait, look what I'm offering you. And he pulls up his balls again. He's like, look, your dreams. Like,
it's really all he has
dreams.
to offer. This is your dream, my balls.
I can offer you my balls. That's it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, still trying to remember. She's like, okay, like, and my kingdoms are great. Can't remember the line. He's like, man, I asked for so little. Just let me rule you and you can have everything that you want. And he's like, fear me, love me, do as I say, and I will be your slave. And then she's like, pauses for a second. She's like, you have no power over me. And he's like, man. And like, he drops his balls.
What?
He drops his balls. Like, and the world
guess
starts.
You win.
I know. She's like, man, you did it. And the world starts like crumbling out beneath them.
Come on.
Yeah.
It was that simple?
And it's that simple. She's got to like remember her script.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
She just had to remember her script.
It's just a lesson.
We've all had these dreams the night before a big performance.
Oh,
yeah.
Literally last
David
night
Bowie
I had
and his
this
bulge
dream.
torments us because we couldn't remember our lines, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So the clock finally hits 13. Her time's up. Jareth has no power left, and he tosses the crystal into the air, and it lands in Sarah's hands and just pops, and he disappears. And she's transported back to her house, and you see an owl flying out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He transformed back. Toby's safe and sound.
Yeah, she goes to Toby's room. He's there living his best life.
She gives him her teddy bear because she's like, I learned the power of family and familiar love.
She's like, wow, I really grew up this trip.
She doesn't want, she doesn't want the love of random balls anymore.
Exactly. But she's kind of like, oh, I need to, toss away all the things that make me childish or something. She's kind of like,
It's not quite that. It's more like she's willing to kind of let go some pieces of that.
Yeah.
But I think that the ballroom scene was kind of her being like, okay, I don't have to grow up so fast.
Yeah. I don't have to grow up into that bulge.
She's like, if I can resist the deep bulge, I can resist anything.
Oh my god!
I need to figure out. You couldn't though, Jensen, right?
You
couldn't. Yeah. Jensen unfortunately grew up far too fast.
Yeah.
She has a poster that's just the waistline from this movie. That's it.
Oh, jeez. I'm a child of Jesus. Thank you very much.
Jesus.
Who had
Of
a better
Yeezus?
bulge than Jesus? Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. You don't
Is
say
that
that
where
well.
we're drawing the line?
You don't say that.
And so she goes back into her room and she looks in front of her mirror and you see Hoggle in the mirror and he's like, "Hey yo, if you ever
What
need
up?
us, like just call."
We'll
Want a
be here.
boyfriend?
Yeah.
In your mind, you crazy person.
Yeah, so she's like, "Well, I do need you, Hoggle." He's like, "Oh, like you do?" She's like, "I don't know why, but like every now and again in my life, for no reason at all, I need you. I need all of you." And then Hoggle's like, "Oh, you do? Like, why didn't you say so?" And they all just come through her mirror and start
What?
Oh, yeah.
dancing to Dance Magic Dance in her
Yeah.
bedroom. Even the Fireys who
Yeah.
tried to literally behead her.
What?
all of them. The trolls,
dangerous
there's a
things.
giant house party in her room.
There's just
Yeah.
a house party
She
in
gonna
her
wake
room.
up?
And
She gonna open her
and
eyes.
it
They're like,
pans
dance,
out.
magic dance.
We go from her room out through her bedroom window, and we see the owl sitting, looking on the party, and he's just like,
And that
Yeah.
owl's got a fucking bulge, man. He does.
"The
I
final
would be so
form."
happy
Yeah.
if that was the way it ended. I already know
It
what
would
your
make it
rating
worth
system's
it.
gonna
Oh, maybe I'll throw a twist in there then.
Oh
Ugh.
god. Yeah. So Jareth was left out of the party. That's what you
Aw.
get for trying to take a
Yeah.
child bride,
be. Being a
Jareth.
bitch. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not allowed to do that.
And that's
Yeah.
Labyrinth. That's
Labyrinth.
the magic of Labyrinth.
That
That's
is the acid trip
fucking
that is
twisted tale
this
of
movie.
Labyrinth, eh? Hmm.
Yes.
Nice.
It's very twisted.
I
Mhm.
am lost, and like the other movies that we've done that have left me profoundly lost, I'll have to watch it. Not because of the bulge, but I just want to understand.
Yeah, right.
But like a little bit because of the bulge.
I am
right?
curious
Just-
though, so we need to. For
If
our
I
build up
picture-
for this episode, can we just? What are you gonna Google to find that, Jensen?
David Bowie's bulge. Obviously.
You just want
Yikes.
you want a bulge track,
I'm
don't
gonna
you?
just
You
type
just
in
want a track
I was
that's
just
all bulge.
bulge.
Yeah.
How do you spell bulge?
Well-
Is it DG?
No.
I think it's just GE.
BULGE.
Bulge. Oh, I thought it was
So,
BULDGE.
Is this episode gonna be called The Bulge? Bowie's
I
bulge.
should. Oh my god!
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
There you go.
It is so.
It's that's not even full
Why
bulge.
is it
No.
so
That's prominent.
prominent?
That's like first
What
level.
the
That's level
hell?
1 bulge.
You're kidding.
Oh god.
That was.
I found final
no.
level bulge.
Final level.
It's a GIF. What the hell?
It's a
Why?
GIF. They have GIFs on Google search now.
Yeah,
I'm
you need
See my search
so
history.
you need that full level.
confused. Yeah, my biggest question coming out of this is why did they have to have the bulge?
I think, you know what, I believe I
made
saw
a
an
choice
interview
for it
where
to
David
exist.
Bowie was like, I thought the outfit was inappropriate, but I guess the
Really?
costumers were like, Ayo, put it on. Put on the tights.
Put it on.
You know,
Put it on.
I think I'd probably just go with the interpretations that you gave us, which is like his bulge represents innocence lost.
Oh my
That's right,
god.
right?
Well,
Like
It
once she sees
does.
it, she's like, "I'm no longer a little girl anymore."
Oh man.
yeah. Well, that's what happened for Jensen. So
Exactly.
Parents, if you
Ugh.
want to let your child watch this movie, please have supervision.
please be
This movie's
prepared.
rated 14A for bulge
Please.
for copious amounts of bulge.
What is this movie
14-year-old
rated?
adults are allowed to observe bulge.
There's a couple swear words in
It's
this.
just so uncomfortable. A
Oh.
couple swears.
For the 1980s, that's
Yeah.
racy.
Yeah, David Bowie was just like,
Is it?
"Fuck you, Sarah."
No. No, he didn't.
That'd be great if just that one moment he just said that.
They're-
Fuck you,
Or
Sarah.
one line, she's just like, "It's not fucking fair."
That'd
I
be
think it's
great.
PG.
Yeah.
Parental guidance.
And we never
Oh.
saw
Nice.
her accent again.
No,
So weird.
we did see her again
This movie fucks me up.
in Requiem for a Dream. No, I think she was in more things after that. But
Do you know
She
who Jennifer
was.
Connelly's married to now?
No.
Vision from Avengers.
Who?
are they together?
They've
Wow.
been married for a long time.
Who?
I think
I don't
since
even-
the 90s. Paul Bettany? Have
Paul
you seen
Bettany?
WandaVision?
No.
Oh my god.
No.
God.
What do you expect?
She's seen
What
some
do you
Marvel
expect?
movies.
It's called Welcome to the Haven't Seen It Podcast. Is a modcast where we bring people on the show and get them really drunk and they tell me about a movie I've never seen before.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a
Calm
question
down.
that kind of has more to do with me than it does with you. But what do you do with your time if not watch mass amounts of television?
I sleep. I'm very anemic.
There you go.
You just sounded
You-
so like broken when you said that. Man, just
You fall asleep to Family Guy. 'cause
I
you're
am
very
very
Sometimes it's
anemic.
just true. I'm so anemic. I
Sometimes
do
you just
stuff.
be like that.
Well, Alenka,
Yes.
how many missing and kidnapped
Yeah.
children do you give this movie?
I really thought you were going to say
See, I
Bulge.
wish you'd done the other one. This is a weaker one.
No.
Missing and kidnapped children.
How
but
many
what? There was,
crystal
like,
balls?
How many crystal balls? Okay. I
Yeah.
give 2 perfectly round, plump crystal balls out of.
Don't
Being
talk
They're
handled
supposed to
by
be there.
arms that aren't David Bowie's.
Nope.
Yes, that's the best part. I need to see that BTS scene. That's amazing.
I'm going to find that clip and send it to you.
Please do.
Oh, it's so funny.
Please.
That's miraculous.
It's pretty easy to
We'll
find.
post that.
You just put like behind the scenes of Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And it's just
It's
this
the
guy
first thing that
fondling
happens.
balls for Bowie. It's the very
Who
first
doesn't
thing that
fondle
happens.
balls for Bowie.
Oh,
Is that like a charity-thon, to raise money?
I was thinking after I said it, I was thinking like of
Balls
saying
for
honk
Bowie.
if you love ball fondling for Bowie.
honk.
Jensen, thank you
Jensen.
for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me. Jensen Fraser.
And sharing this fucking
Jensen.
weird movie.
Yes. If our listeners want to follow you or see anything that you've done or follow what you're up to, where can they do that?
They're about to be real disappointed because I'm doing nothing. But you
You're
can.
doing this though.
I am doing this. If you guys are watching this, make sure to catch the Haven't Seen It podcast.
She's gonna do
That's
our
what we-
plug.
That's what we need.
I have nothing to plug about Alenka's podcast, but you can follow me on Instagram at the Jensen Fraser because I've checked and I'm the only one.
Nice.
remain
That's
the
very
only one.
exciting. I
Yeah,
love that.
Verified check coming soon.
Yes.
never.
Good.
Well, if you want to follow us and see us get one of those verified check marks sometime, you can do that on Instagram and
Oh.
Facebook at Haven't Seen a Podcast and on Twitter at haven't_seen_it. You can go to our website, haven'tseenapodcast.com. Listen to our episodes there, see the big list of movies Alenka hasn't seen, and
Yeah.
go on iTunes and give us a review, rate us. And if you are a podcaster yourself listening to this, go onto the Canadian Podcast Awards and vote for us for Best Original Main Title Theme Song. That's what we're nominated
Woo!
for right now.
Nice.
Voting goes until the end of the month, I believe, or the end of the week. I don't know. Check it out. Canadian Podcast Awards.
We don't know.
Real
we have no
cool.
idea.
Thank you and fuck you, Zach, for the theme.
Thank you.
Fuck you,
Zach.
Fuck you, Zach.
It's given
Yes,
us
it
our
happened.
only nomination.
Yes. Oh, I
Vote
love
or
that.
else.
I
crystal balls
love
will
that
cover you.
for Zach. I'm so happy for him. And on that note, you guys, friggin', if you have children and you are just so sick of them not having sexual awakenings yet, just send them to the labyrinth.
I can't do this anymore.